Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today. We're about to dive into an intriguing topic, the Secrets of Freemasonry Explained for Beginners. It's a fascinating journey into the simple truths behind these mysterious traditions. My name is Burning Afrobeats, and I'll be guiding you through this exploration. Over the next few slides, we'll uncover what Freemasonry is really about, dispel some common myths, and reveal the core principles that have intrigued many for centuries. So, let's get started and see what secrets await. Now, let's take a quick look at what we'll be exploring today. This slide provides an overview of the key topics related to Freemasonry that we'll cover throughout this presentation. We'll start with the structure of Freemasonry, understanding how it's organized and how its various branches work together. Then, we'll dive into Masonic symbols and what they represent, which is essential for grasping the deeper meanings behind rituals and teachings. Speaking of rituals, we'll examine some of the practices that form the backbone of Masonic tradition. Next, we'll explore the philosophy behind Freemasonry, its principles, ethical teachings, and the pursuit of moral development. We'll also look at some famous Freemasons throughout history, highlighting their impact and contributions. The presentation will then address the role of women in Freemasonry, which is often a topic of curiosity and discussion. After that, we'll discuss how one can join Freemasonry and what that process entails. Looking ahead, we'll consider the future of Freemasonry and how it continues to evolve in today's world. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion, reflecting on Freemasonry's relevance and place in our modern society. This overview sets the stage for a comprehensive understanding of this fascinating and historically significant organization. Let's take a closer look at the introduction to Freemasonry. On this slide, we're exploring the foundational principles that define this ancient and widespread fraternity. Freemasonry is essentially built on core values like brotherhood, integrity, and moral development. These principles guide members in their personal growth and in their contributions to society. It's important to understand that Freemasonry isn't just about rituals or secret symbols. At its heart, it's about fostering a sense of community and encouraging ethical behavior. The teachings are often symbolic, using allegories and stories to impart important lessons about virtue and character. Throughout this presentation, you'll see how these foundational principles connect to the broader themes of enlightenment, personal development, and service. Freemasonry aims to uplift individuals so they can positively impact their communities. So, as we move forward, keep in mind that these core values are what truly define the essence of Freemasonry and guide its ongoing relevance today. Now, let's take a closer look at what Freemasonry actually is. To start, its origins date back to the late 1500s and early 1600s, when it began as a guild for stonemasons. Over time, it transformed into a broader fraternal organization that focuses on more than just craftsmanship. Today, Freemasonry emphasizes moral and ethical growth, mutual support among members, and the pursuit of personal enlightenment, often through symbolic rituals and communal activities. Its roots are deeply connected to Enlightenment ideals, which promoted reason, knowledge, and progress. Moving on to its core principles, Freemasonry is fundamentally about brotherhood, charity, and the pursuit of knowledge. It's about fostering strong interpersonal connections and encouraging ethical behavior. Members are guided to develop their character, support one another, and give back to their communities. These principles promote unity and support, not just within the organization, but in society at large. And this brings us to why Freemasonry matters in society. It plays a significant role by promoting values like brotherhood and charity, values that help build stronger, more compassionate communities. Members are encouraged to contribute positively, whether through charitable work or simply by leading moral lives. Ultimately, Freemasonry aims to support individual growth while fostering social responsibility, creating a ripple effect that benefits everyone. So, in essence, Freemasonry isn't just about secret rituals or traditions. It's about shared values that promote better individuals and, in turn, a better society. Let's talk about some common misconceptions surrounding Freemasonry. Many people think it's a mysterious or secretive organization, and that's where a lot of myths come from. For example, some believe it's a cult or has hidden agendas. But in reality, Freemasonry is really about brotherhood, moral growth, and community service. It's more transparent than many realize, focused on developing good character and helping others. Now, when we look at the myths versus the reality, secrecy often fuels misunderstandings. People tend to see it as sinister or secretive, but the truth is that the privacy it offers is mainly to protect members' personal lives and build trust among brothers. The rituals and symbols, which some label as secret or hidden, are actually tools designed for personal growth and moral teaching, not for hiding dark secrets or conspiracies. This brings us to the role of symbols in Freemasonry. These symbols aren't meant to be mysterious or secretive in a sinister way. Instead, they serve as visual tools to teach ethical lessons and moral values. They help members understand important principles and support their personal development. Recognizing this helps us see that Freemasonry is about transparency and moral education, not about secret plots or clandestine activities. Understanding these points helps us demystify Freemasonry and appreciate its true purpose, focused on moral growth, trust, and community, rather than secrecy and suspicion. Now, let's take a closer look at the structure of Freemasonry. Understanding how Masonic organizations are organized and their hierarchy is key to grasping how the fraternity operates. At its core, Freemasonry is built around a series of degrees or levels, each representing different stages of enlightenment and responsibility. These degrees are often associated with specific rituals and teachings that members progress through as they learn more about the principles of the fraternity. The organization is typically divided into local lodges, which are the foundational units where members meet regularly. These lodges are connected to larger regional or national bodies, creating a structured network that maintains consistency and tradition across the fraternity. Hierarchy in Freemasonry is quite important. It's designed to guide members through their journey and ensure the continuity of its teachings. Leaders or officers within a lodge, like the worshipful master, oversee activities and uphold the fraternity's values. As members advance, they may take on higher offices, gaining more responsibility and deeper insight into the organization's mysteries and moral teachings. By understanding this structure, we see how Freemasonry fosters a sense of order, tradition, and progression. It's not just about secret rituals, it's about building a framework that supports personal growth, ethical development, and a shared sense of purpose, values that resonate throughout the entire presentation. Now, let's take a closer look at the Masonic hierarchy, starting with the lodge system. This is really the backbone of Freemasonry, made up of local groups called lodges. Each lodge operates independently, but they all follow a shared set of rituals and governance rules. This structure helps create a sense of community, encourages personal growth among members, and keeps our traditions alive. Moving on to the degrees of membership. These are like stepping stones in your Masonic journey. There are 3 main degrees: entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. Each one represents a deeper level of knowledge and responsibility. As you progress through these degrees, you're not just learning more, you're also uncovering profound philosophical teachings and esoteric insights that have been passed down for centuries. Finally, let's talk about leadership roles within the lodge. Freemasonry has a clear hierarchy, with key positions like the worshipful master, who presides over the lodge and guides its activities. There are also various officers, each with specific responsibilities, whether it's overseeing rituals, managing communications, or maintaining order. This organized leadership fosters mentorship and helps develop leadership skills among members. Plus, it ensures that the lodge functions smoothly, with proper procedures in place to keep everything running efficiently and engaging for everyone involved. All these elements, the lodge system, the degrees, and the leadership, tie together to support our overarching goal: building character, fostering brotherhood, and passing down timeless traditions. Now, let's take a closer look at the different types of Freemason organizations. First up are the Blue Lodges, which are really the core of Freemasonry. This is where members earn their first 3 degrees: entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason. These lodges are focused on personal growth, moral teachings, and community service. They serve as the foundation from which members can explore further into the many aspects of Freemasonry. Next, we have the appendant bodies. These are additional organizations that members can join to deepen their experience and understanding. Examples include the Scottish Rite and the York Rite. These groups offer advanced teachings, rituals, and ceremonies that go beyond the basic lodge experience. They help members develop a more comprehensive grasp of Masonic principles and philosophies. Finally, there are the Grand Lodges. Think of these as the governing bodies of Freemasonry within a particular region or jurisdiction. They establish and enforce standards for ritual and practice across local lodges, oversee membership records, and set regulations to ensure consistency and unity. Essentially, they keep the organizational structure intact and make sure everyone is on the same page. By understanding these different organizations, we can see how Freemasonry offers a layered and interconnected system, each part playing a vital role in the overall experience and growth of its members. Now, on slide 9, we're diving into Masonic symbols and their meanings. This is a fascinating part of understanding the hidden messages that are woven into the very fabric of Freemasonry. These symbols are more than just images. They serve as visual tools that convey complex ideas and moral lessons. For example, you'll notice symbols like the square and compasses, which are probably the most recognizable. They represent morality, boundaries, and the importance of balancing one's actions. The all-seeing eye, another powerful symbol, signifies divine guidance and enlightenment, reminding members to seek wisdom beyond the material world. What's really interesting is how these symbols are not just decorative. They're meant to communicate deeper truths to initiates and members alike. They act as a kind of universal language, allowing members to understand and pass on core values and philosophies subtly but effectively. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding these symbols helps us appreciate how Freemasonry uses them to transmit secret knowledge, moral teachings, and the importance of personal growth. They serve as a bridge between the physical and spiritual, inviting members to reflect on their journey toward enlightenment. So, by unlocking these symbols' meanings, we gain insight into the core messages Freemasonry aims to share with its members. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the key symbols in Freemasonry and what they represent. First, we have the square and compasses. These are probably the most recognizable symbols. The square stands for virtue. It's about moral integrity and doing what's right. The compasses, on the other hand, represent self-control and boundaries, knowing where to draw the line in our actions. When we put them together, they serve as a reminder for members to align their actions with ethical principles, not only in their personal lives, but within the wider community as well. Next, there's the letter G. This symbol is quite central because it stands for both God and geometry. It reminds us of the divine presence that exists in all creation, emphasizing that spirituality and knowledge go hand in hand on the Masonic journey. The G encourages us to seek understanding, both of the universe and of ourselves, and to recognize that moral guidance is essential to our growth. Finally, the all-seeing eye. This symbol depicts divine providence, an ever-watchful eye that represents a higher power overseeing everything. It's about enlightenment and knowledge, yes, but also about transparency. Nothing remains hidden from the universe. It inspires us to be morally upright and self-aware, knowing that our actions are always observed and judged by a higher force. Together, these symbols reinforce the core themes of Freemasonry: integrity, spiritual awareness, and moral responsibility, and they serve as guiding principles on our journey of self-improvement and enlightenment. Now, let's explore how symbols are used in Masonic rituals and why they hold such significance. Masonic symbols are more than just images. They are powerful tools that convey complex principles and values in a simple, understandable way. When used in rituals, these symbols help initiates reflect on their personal journey and deepen their understanding of the spiritual lessons being shared. They also serve to strengthen the bonds among members, creating a shared sense of purpose and community. Each symbol's role in the ritual amplifies its meaning, making the experience more profound for everyone involved. Moving on to architecture, Masonic buildings often incorporate symbols like the square and compass. These aren't just decorative elements, they symbolize morality and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. These tools act as guides for builders, reminding them of the core principles that underpin Freemasonry. They emphasize harmony, balance, and divine order, values that are essential in both creating structures and in our personal lives. The architecture itself becomes a reflection of Masonic ideals, embodying the pursuit of moral and spiritual perfection. Finally, let's talk about how these symbols teach moral lessons. In rituals, symbols like the square and compass serve as visual cues for important ethical principles. The square, for example, teaches us about integrity, doing the right thing in our actions. The compass emphasizes self-restraint, controlling our passions and desires. These symbols encapsulate core values, guiding members toward personal growth and ethical behavior. So, whether in ritual or architecture, Masonic symbols are central to conveying the deeper moral and spiritual lessons at the heart of the fraternity. Now, let's delve into Masonic rituals and practices. These traditions are really at the heart of Freemasonry, serving as a way to pass down values, morals, and teachings through generations. When we talk about rituals, we're referring to the ceremonies and symbolic acts that members participate in during their initiation and progression through the degrees. These rituals are rich with symbolism, often drawing on allegories from architecture, geometry, and ancient traditions. They're designed not just to be ceremonial, but to inspire reflection and personal growth. You'll notice that symbolism plays a huge role. Things like tools, gestures, and words all carry deeper meanings. For example, the square and compass aren't just tools. They represent virtues like morality and virtue. These symbols serve as visual representations of the ethical principles Freemasons strive to embody. Connecting this to the broader theme, these rituals and symbols create a shared experience and reinforce the core values of brotherhood, integrity, and self-improvement. They help members internalize lessons in a memorable and meaningful way. So, in essence, the rituals are more than just traditions. They're a vital part of how Freemasonry fosters personal development and a sense of unity among its members. Now, let's take a closer look at the introduction to Masonic rituals. These rituals are much more than just ceremonies. They serve several important purposes. Primarily, they are designed to impart moral lessons that guide us in our personal lives. They also help foster a strong sense of community and brotherhood, creating a supportive environment for everyone involved. Through these rituals, members have a structured space to explore their beliefs, reflect on shared values, and experience personal transformation. They help us build camaraderie by reinforcing the bonds that unite us as members of the fraternity. Moving on to the components of these rituals, you'll notice they include symbolic gestures, spoken teachings, and ceremonial regalia. These elements work together to communicate moral lessons and promote brotherhood. They often use allegorical stories, which are rich with meaning, to inspire personal growth and strengthen our sense of community. It's also important to recognize that these rituals are kept somewhat secret, which adds a layer of depth and reverence to their meanings. The deeper symbolism is meant to be discovered over time, encouraging ongoing reflection. Finally, let's talk about the importance of tradition within these rituals. Tradition provides continuity, connecting us to the long history of Freemasonry. It helps us feel a sense of belonging and reinforces the core values we cherish. These traditions are vital because they strengthen our shared identity, uphold ethical teachings, and promote unity among members. In essence, the rituals are a living link to our past, helping us stay grounded while guiding our moral and spiritual growth today. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the common practices among Freemasons that help build their strong bonds and community presence. First, meetings and gatherings are a central part of Masonic life. These are usually held in lodges, and they serve multiple purposes. They focus on ritual, which is a key aspect of their tradition, but also on education and fellowship. It's not just about performing ceremonies. It's about creating a space where members can discuss important matters, learn from one another, and strengthen their brotherhood. And these gatherings often include communal meals, which really help foster a sense of camaraderie and shared values among members. Next, we see that fundraising and charity work are fundamental to their identity. Freemasons are deeply committed to giving back to their communities. They organize events like dinners, auctions, and donations to support local charities, hospitals, and educational initiatives. These efforts not only help those in need, but also reinforce their core principles of philanthropy and brotherhood. Plus, these activities help improve their public image, showing that they are dedicated to making a positive difference. Finally, community involvement is another vital practice. Freemasons actively participate in charitable activities, mentorship programs, and outreach initiatives. They support local causes and encourage members to engage directly with their communities. This involvement fosters a sense of brotherhood beyond the lodge and helps make a meaningful impact on society. It's really about living out the values of brotherhood, service, and community in everyday life. All of these practices, meetings, charity, and community involvement, are interconnected. They help create a culture of continuous growth, support, and service that aligns with the overarching themes of brotherhood and moral development we've been discussing throughout this presentation. Now, let's delve into the fascinating philosophy of Freemasonry. Here, we explore the core beliefs, values, and symbols that shape this ancient fraternity. At its heart, Freemasonry emphasizes moral development, personal growth, and brotherhood. It's about striving to be better individuals and contributing positively to society. The symbols you see, like the square and compass, aren't just tools, they're powerful allegories for virtue, integrity, and truth. These symbols serve as reminders of the moral lessons members uphold. Ultimately, Freemasonry encourages us to reflect on universal principles, truth, charity, and justice, and to apply them in our daily lives. Understanding these beliefs helps us appreciate how Freemasonry connects its members through shared values and a commitment to self-improvement. This philosophical foundation is what gives the fraternity its enduring relevance and appeal across centuries. Now, let's explore the foundational philosophies that underpin Freemasonry. At its core, it emphasizes moral and ethical teachings, which serve as the guiding principles for how members live and interact. Freemasonry encourages us to develop moral integrity, take personal responsibility, and act ethically in all areas of life. This means cultivating virtues like honesty, charity, and respect, which not only strengthen our character, but also foster a sense of community and support among members. Moving from ethics to personal growth, Freemasonry promotes continuous self-improvement through self-reflection and moral living. Members are encouraged to look inward, to develop their virtues, expand their knowledge, and contribute positively to society. It's really about a lifelong journey toward enlightenment, where each step builds on the last, helping us become better individuals. And then, there's the value of brotherhood and fellowship. These principles highlight the importance of mutual support and unity. Freemasonry brings people together through shared values, creating deep connections and a sense of belonging. This camaraderie not only strengthens the community, but also encourages us to uphold ethical standards in both our personal and collective lives. Altogether, these philosophies, moral integrity, personal development, and brotherhood, are interconnected. They reinforce the overall theme of Freemasonry as a path to personal and societal betterment, grounded in virtue, knowledge, and fellowship. Slide 17 focuses on how Freemasonry has influenced Western thought, particularly through the lens of Enlightenment principles. It embodies core ideas like reason, individualism, and liberty, values that challenge traditional authority and pave the way for modern democratic ideas. Freemasonry emphasizes moral integrity and the pursuit of knowledge, reflecting the Enlightenment's push to question established norms and promote rational thought. Now, when we look at its connection to Enlightenment ideas, we see that Freemasonry played a significant role in shaping democratic principles. It advocated for equality, liberty, and fraternity, concepts that are fundamental to modern democracy. By promoting reason and individual moral responsibility, Freemasonry created environments that encouraged civic engagement and governance based on shared values. Finally, its contributions extend beyond ideas. Freemasonry has actively supported education, charity, and community service. These efforts foster a sense of community and promote ethical behavior, which have all been vital in shaping the democratic societies we see today. Overall, Freemasonry's influence on Western thought isn't just about abstract principles. It's about tangible contributions that continue to shape our understanding of society, democracy, and shared human values. Let's take a moment to look at some of the most influential figures in history who were also Freemasons. Throughout the centuries, many prominent individuals have been part of this fraternity, contributing significantly to various fields like politics, science, art, and philosophy. Their involvement in Freemasonry often reflected their values of brotherhood, moral development, and pursuit of knowledge. For example, you might be surprised to learn that some founding fathers of nations, renowned scientists, and celebrated artists were Freemasons. Understanding these figures helps us see how Freemasonry's principles have intersected with major historical events and cultural advancements. It also reinforces the idea that Freemasonry has played a subtle yet impactful role in shaping the world we live in today. So, as we explore this legacy, keep in mind how these influential figures exemplify the broader themes of enlightenment and moral progress that are central to Freemasonry's enduring influence. Let's take a moment to look at some of the notable historical figures connected to Freemasonry and their impact on history. First, we have the founding fathers of America, people like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson. These men were not only instrumental in shaping the nation, but also shared Masonic ideals such as liberty, equality, and fraternity. These principles were deeply rooted in Enlightenment thinking and played a significant role in forging democratic values that continue to define the United States today. Moving on, we see influential political leaders throughout history, figures like Winston Churchill and Franklin D. Roosevelt, who were also Freemasons. Their beliefs in liberty and brotherhood influenced their leadership, especially during some of the most critical moments in history. Their Masonic values helped shape their decisions and their visions for their nations. Finally, we have renowned artists and thinkers like Mozart, Voltaire, and Picasso. Their Masonic connections often intertwined with their creativity and philosophical pursuits. These ties symbolized a dedication to Enlightenment ideals, seeking knowledge, pushing boundaries, and fostering cultural progress. Their Masonic involvement helped inspire their groundbreaking works and enduring legacies. Overall, these figures exemplify how Freemasonry has historically been intertwined with leadership, innovation, and the pursuit of progress, elements that resonate throughout the broader story of our theme today. Now, let's explore the impact of these notable Freemasons. Figures like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Winston Churchill didn't just hold titles. They actively shaped society through their leadership, their commitment to democratic principles, and their support for scientific progress. Their involvement in humanitarian efforts and social reforms has left a lasting legacy, influencing modern values and how we govern today. Moving on to their contributions to culture, we see that many of these Freemasons, such as Mozart and Washington, played a pivotal role in shaping art, politics, and philosophy. Their work not only embodied Enlightenment ideals, but also helped spread Masonic principles, which emphasize freedom, brotherhood, and civic responsibility. These ideas continue to influence how we view our roles within society. Finally, the legacy of Freemasonry is evident in how these individuals promoted societal progress. Their efforts in advocating liberty, equality, and fraternity have left an indelible mark on governance, culture, and social reform. Their contributions helped forge modern values and institutions that continue to shape our world today. So, in essence, these figures exemplify how Freemasonry has been a powerful force for positive change, inspiring progress and reform across centuries. Now, let's turn our attention to the role of women in Freemasonry. As we explore this topic, it's important to recognize that women have played a vital part in shaping and sustaining these traditions. Historically, Freemasonry was predominantly male, but over time, women's involvement has grown significantly, highlighting a shift towards inclusivity and empowerment. Women in Freemasonry often embody the same values of moral development, charity, and brotherhood that define the broader movement. Their participation not only enriches the traditions, but also helps break down barriers that once limited their involvement. This journey reflects a broader theme of empowerment, women asserting their place within these ancient, often male-dominated, institutions. It's a powerful example of how traditions can evolve, maintaining their core principles while becoming more inclusive and representative of diverse voices. So, in essence, the role of women in Freemasonry demonstrates both the preservation of empowering traditions and the ongoing effort to break barriers, fostering a more open and equitable community for everyone. Women in Masonic history have played a fascinating role, even though for a long time they were excluded from traditional Freemasonry. This exclusion was largely due to the gender norms of the era, which saw Freemasonry as a male-only space. As a result, women couldn't participate in the rituals or be part of the main organizational structures, even though there were female-oriented Masonic groups that existed alongside. But things began to change with the formation of women's lodges. These lodges represented a major shift, giving women the opportunity to actively participate in Freemasonry. They created a more inclusive environment and became platforms for women's empowerment. Importantly, they challenged the traditional gender roles that had kept women on the sidelines for so long, especially within what was historically a male-dominated environment. Today, we see even further progress. Contemporary developments include the creation of parallel women's lodges as well as mixed-gender organizations. These changes are helping to break down old norms and promote greater gender equality within Freemasonry. They reflect broader societal shifts and demonstrate how the role of women in Masonic history continues to evolve. So, from exclusion to inclusion, women's participation in Freemasonry has come a long way, illustrating both historical progress and ongoing efforts toward equality. Now, let's take a closer look at modern Masonic bodies for women. These organizations, like the Order of the Eastern Star and the Women's Grand Lodge, are dedicated to promoting empowerment, charity, and community service. While they uphold core Masonic values, they also emphasize equality and inclusivity, aiming to advance women within the Masonic tradition. Women in Freemasonry have made significant contributions over the years. They've been strong advocates for equality, pushing for greater inclusion and recognition. Their efforts in charitable work and community engagement have expanded the reach of Freemasonry, enriching the organization with diverse perspectives and values. Looking ahead, the future of women's Freemasonry looks quite promising. As society continues to evolve and become more inclusive, we can expect these organizations to grow in membership and influence. They're likely to foster more leadership opportunities for women, promoting gender equality not just within Freemasonry, but also in the broader community. Overall, these modern bodies are playing a vital role in shaping a more inclusive, charitable, and socially responsible Masonic landscape, one that honors tradition while embracing progress. Now, let's talk about joining Freemasonry and understanding what the path to membership really involves. When someone is interested in becoming a Freemason, there are several important steps and concepts to keep in mind. First, it's about genuine interest and a desire to grow personally, morally, and socially. But beyond that, there's a process of inquiry where you learn about the organization's values, history, and commitments. Most importantly, Freemasonry emphasizes integrity and a sincere intention to contribute positively to the community and oneself. The journey typically starts with a recommendation or introduction, often through a current member, and then moves into a period of learning and reflection. Throughout this process, candidates are encouraged to ask questions, understand the responsibilities involved, and see if the values of Freemasonry resonate with their own. Remember, joining is not just about membership. It's about becoming part of a brotherhood that values truth, charity, and personal development. So, understanding this path helps reinforce the overall theme of the presentation. That Freemasonry is a meaningful journey rooted in shared values and growth, inviting individuals to embark on a path of lifelong learning and service. Becoming a Freemason is a process that involves several important steps and requirements. First, you generally need to be at least 18 years old, believe in a supreme being, and demonstrate good moral character. These foundational qualities are essential because Freemasonry emphasizes ethical behavior and spiritual belief. Additionally, having recommendations from current members is often required, which helps ensure that new members are trusted and aligned with the fraternity's values. Once these basic criteria are met, the individual commits to upholding the principles of Freemasonry, which focus on personal growth, integrity, and brotherhood. The initiation process itself is quite symbolic and meaningful. It involves a series of rituals and ceremonies designed to guide candidates through a journey of self-discovery and moral development. These sacred rituals aren't just formalities. They serve to teach important lessons about ethics, character, and building bonds with fellow members. It's a transformative experience that marks your formal entry into the Masonic community. A key figure in this process is the sponsor. Think of the sponsor as your guide or mentor, someone who supports you through the entire journey. They provide guidance, share insights about what Freemasonry stands for, and help you understand the commitments involved. Their role is vital because they ensure that your introduction to the fraternity is positive and that you're well prepared to embrace its values. In summary, becoming a Mason is more than just meeting requirements. It's about engaging in a meaningful, symbolic journey that fosters personal and moral growth, supported by experienced members who help you navigate this new chapter. Now, let's talk about the benefits of joining Freemasonry. One of the most significant advantages is the extensive networking opportunities it provides. When you become a member, you gain access to a diverse range of professionals across various fields. This network isn't just about connections, it's about fostering meaningful personal and business relationships. It opens channels for mentorship, collaboration, and community engagement, all of which can really help enhance your personal growth and even your career prospects. Moving on, another key benefit is the focus on personal growth and learning. Freemasonry encourages members to engage in philosophical discussions and develop leadership skills. It's a space that nurtures curiosity and intellectual exploration, helping you grow not just professionally, but also as a person. It's about committing to lifelong learning and self-improvement, which can be incredibly fulfilling. And finally, there's a strong sense of community support that comes with being part of Freemasonry. Members build lifelong friendships and support networks through shared values and charitable activities. This bond of mutual assistance promotes personal development while also contributing to the well-being of the wider community. Altogether, these benefits, networking, personal growth, and community, align perfectly with the overall theme of building a meaningful, enriched life through Freemasonry. Now, as we look to the future of Freemasonry, it's clear that embracing change is essential in our modern world. This isn't about abandoning our traditions, but rather about adapting and evolving to stay relevant and meaningful today. We need to find ways to connect with a new generation, making our principles accessible and engaging in ways that resonate with their values and experiences. Embracing technological advancements, fostering inclusivity, and promoting transparency are all part of this process. Ultimately, it's about ensuring that Freemasonry remains a vibrant and vital part of society, rooted in our timeless principles, but open to growth and innovation. This balance between tradition and progress will be key to shaping a future where Freemasonry continues to thrive and inspire. Now, moving on to some of the challenges that Freemasonry faces today. One of the biggest hurdles is changing the public perception of what Freemasonry actually is. For a long time, there have been misconceptions and misunderstandings, which can make it difficult to attract new members or even to be understood by the wider community. To address this, we need to promote transparency, showing what we truly stand for and what we do. Engaging with our communities and highlighting our charitable activities can really help us reshape our image. When people see us actively contributing and giving back, they start to see Freemasonry in a new, more positive light. Another major challenge is membership decline. Younger generations today are looking for different ways to engage with communities, ways that might not always align with traditional Masonic practices. To stay relevant, we need to adapt to modern values, which means embracing new forms of outreach and communication. This is vital if we want to attract new members and ensure the future of Freemasonry. That leads us to the need for modernization. Freemasonry must evolve by adopting digital communication tools, fostering greater inclusivity, and aligning more closely with contemporary societal values. By doing so, we can make our organization more accessible and appealing to a broader audience, helping us preserve our legacy while staying relevant in this fast-paced, interconnected world. Ultimately, overcoming these challenges is about balancing tradition with innovation, keeping the core principles alive while embracing the changes necessary to thrive in today's society. Let's explore the prospects for growth and reinvention within Freemasonry. A key area is engaging younger generations. To do that effectively, we need to modernize how we communicate, using social media and technology to connect with them where they are. It's also important to emphasize community service and create inclusive environments, showing that Freemasonry is relevant and welcoming today. Innovative approaches are crucial. Embracing technology, like virtual meetings, allows us to reach members regardless of location. Leveraging social media for outreach helps tell our story and highlight our values, especially around personal development and social responsibility. These strategies are designed to boost engagement, promote inclusivity, and adapt our traditions to fit the modern societal context. And speaking of traditions, revitalizing them is about blending our rich historical customs with modern values. This helps attract diverse members and keeps our practices relevant and meaningful. By doing so, we can strengthen community engagement and ensure our traditions resonate with contemporary ideals, creating a dynamic environment that fosters growth and renewal. As we come to the final slide, I want to talk about the place of Freemasonry in today's world. It's really about how this ancient tradition continues to navigate the complexities of modern society. Freemasonry has always been rooted in timeless principles like brotherhood, morality, and personal development, but it also faces the challenge of staying relevant amid rapid social change. What's important to understand is that Freemasonry adapts by emphasizing its core values while respecting contemporary issues and ideas. It's not about clinging to the past, but rather about finding ways to remain meaningful for new generations. This balance between tradition and modernity is crucial. Freemasonry's ability to evolve without losing its identity is what allows it to continue to serve as a moral compass and a community for those seeking personal growth today. So, in conclusion, Freemasonry's place today is about more than historic rituals. It's about actively engaging with the world, fostering ethical conduct, and building connections that transcend time. It's a living tradition that, when managed thoughtfully, remains relevant and impactful in our modern society. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the key points we've discussed. First, understanding the basics of Freemasonry is essential. It helps us see beyond stereotypes and misconceptions, revealing a rich tradition rooted in promoting values like fraternity, charity, and moral integrity. These core principles are what keep Freemasonry relevant today, as they encourage personal growth, community service, and strong ethical behavior. Next, the importance of fellowship cannot be overstated. It's about forming genuine connections and building a sense of belonging among members. This shared bond not only supports individual development, but also fosters moral growth, which is especially vital in our increasingly fragmented society. Finally, Freemasonry continues to thrive as a beacon of moral guidance and community service. Its enduring traditions promote not just personal improvement, but also global charity efforts. All of these elements, brotherhood, ethical living, service, highlight why Freemasonry remains a meaningful and influential institution in today's world. In essence, understanding its fundamentals, valuing fellowship, and recognizing its ongoing contributions all underscore the timeless relevance of Freemasonry. As we come to the final thoughts for beginners, I want to highlight that Freemasonry offers a rich tapestry of traditions and values that can truly enrich your personal growth. I encourage those just starting out to explore its teachings and the sense of community it fosters, as this can lead to greater understanding and meaningful connections. Engaging with Freemasonry isn't just about learning history. It's about discovering modern societal roles and how these age-old principles still resonate today. So, I invite you to embrace this journey of discovery with an open mind. For those eager to explore further, there are many resources available: books, reputable websites, and local lodges that can provide deeper insights into Masonic traditions and philosophies. Remember, Freemasonry emphasizes respecting traditions and maintaining a sense of community and continuity. As society continues to evolve, these enduring values serve as a solid framework for ethical conduct, personal growth, and mutual support. This is how Freemasonry remains relevant in our diverse and changing world. And finally, I encourage you to approach this exploration with curiosity and respect. Whether you're just beginning or looking to deepen your understanding, the journey is valuable and rewarding. Thank you all for your time and attention today. I really appreciate it. Burning Afrobeats has been an incredible journey, and I hope you've gained a deeper understanding of its impact and significance. Remember, this genre isn't just about the music. It's a cultural movement that's breaking barriers and connecting people worldwide. Your support and interest can help propel this vibrant scene even further. Thanks again for being part of this exploration. Let's keep the energy and passion alive for Afrobeats.